Now we are going to discuss about the factors affecting limiting frictional force. There are two main factors which affect the limiting frictional force. Imagine there is water on a tile floor. Then it becomes slippery. Why? Because the friction has been reduced. Now imagine a day before your sports meet. It was raining throughout and the ground has become muddy. Then it is very slippery. So it is because the frictional force acting in between our feet and the surface of the ground is less. Therefore, we can slide off easily. So once we apply some sand on it, it is no more slippery because the frictional force has been increased. So the first factor which affects the limiting frictional force is the nature of the surfaces in contact. So when the surface is rough, the friction is high, and when the surface is smooth, the friction is less. That is the first factor. Then the second factor is the normal reaction between the surfaces. We draw an object resting on a table. What are the forces acting on it? The weight of the object will be acting downwards from the center of gravity, and when the object is in contact with the surface, tabletop or the ground, there is a perpendicular reaction which is acting upwards. So this object is at rest or it is stationary as W is equal to R. Weight of the object is equal to the perpendicular reaction. So once the perpendicular reaction increases, the friction force will also be increased. Right. Therefore, the second factor affecting limiting frictional force is the normal reaction or the perpendicular reaction between the surfaces. So remember, when the perpendicular reaction increases, the frictional force is also increased. So let's take this example. Assume a vehicle. We'll say a van is buried in mud. The driver cannot take the van out of mud. The wheels are rotating at the same position. Then the driver is asked to load the vehicle as much as possible. So some students get into the van. Then the driver can take off the van away from mud. Why? Because when the students get into the van, the weight of the van is increased. Then as a result, the perpendicular reaction is also increased. Once the perpendicular reaction increases, frictional force is also increased. Therefore, the van could be taken away from mud easily. So, the two factors affecting the limiting frictional force are, first thing, nature of the contacting surfaces. Second one, normal reaction between the surfaces in contact. But remember, the surface area in contact does not affect the limiting frictional force.